First Contact. The deafening crash echoed through the mountain valley as Dr. Sarah Chen looked up from her specimen collection. "What on earth was that?" she whispered to herself, tucking a strand of black hair behind her ear. The sound had come from the eastern ridge near the old ravine. Sarah hesitated. Her research on alpine medicinal plants wasn't going to document itself, but curiosity tugged at her scientist's mind. Just a quick look, she promised herself, slinging her backpack over her shoulder and heading toward the source of the noise. The rain began falling in soft sheets as she climbed, making the steep terrain slippery and treacherous. By the time she reached the ridge, Sarah was soaked through her clothes, clinging to her slim frame. "This better be worth it," she muttered, pushing through a dense thicket of underbrush. What she saw made her freeze in disbelief. A metallic object approximately 20 feet long was embedded in the soft earth, steaming despite the cool rain. The object was clearly manufactured with smooth lines and strange symbols etched across its surface, but unlike any aircraft Sarah had ever seen. "This isn't possible," she breathed, approaching cautiously, her trained scientific mind already cataloging details. Even as her heart raced with equal parts fear and excitement, a section of the craft suddenly shifted, revealing an opening. Sarah jumped back, her hand flying to her mouth to stifle a scream. What emerged from the opening made her world tilt on its axis. The being stood nearly 7 feet tall, with a humanoid shape but distinctly alien features. Its skin was a rich purple with intricate patterns that seemed to shimmer with bioluminescence in the dim light. Black eyes with amber irises fixed on Sarah with unmistakable intelligence. "Stay where you are, human." The creature spoke the words, somehow translating into perfect English, though Sarah could hear underlying clicks and vibrations in the original vocalization. "You're hurt, Sarah," said, noticing the dark fluid seeping from a wound on the being's side. Her doctor's instinct overrode her fear. "It is nothing," the creature replied, its posture defensive despite obvious pain. "I am Kai of the Nexus Armada. Your presence has been noted." Sarah slowly raised her empty hands. "I'm Dr. Sarah Chen. I'm a botanist. I study plants. I'm not a threat." She nodded toward the wound. "That looks serious. I can help." Kai seemed to sway slightly. "No assistance required." But even as the words left their mouth, the tall alien stumbled forward. Acting on instinct, Sarah rushed to support them, surprised at how light Kai felt despite their size. "Your biology might be different, but blood loss is blood loss," she said firmly. "My research cabin is 2 miles from here. Can you walk that far?" Kai stiffened at her touch. "Physical contact is only for combat among my kind," they warned, though they didn't pull away. "Well, on Earth sometimes it's for helping," Sarah replied, guiding the reluctant alien down the path. "And right now you need help whether you want it or not." The journey was slow and painful, with Kai growing weaker with each step. By the time they reached Sarah's small cabin nestled among towering pines, the alien was barely conscious inside. Sarah quickly cleared her research table. "Lie down here," she instructed, helping Kai onto the makeshift examination surface. "I need to see that wound." "Your planet's atmosphere," Kai murmured, their voice fading. "It's affecting my systems." "Our scans didn't predict the bacterial composition." Sarah worked quickly, gathering her first aid supplies and research tools. "I'm going to help you," she promised, though she had no idea how to treat an alien physiology. "But you'll need to tell me about your biology." As she began cleaning the wound, she noticed Kai watching her with those strange amber eyes. "Why would you assist an unknown entity?" they asked weakly. "I could be dangerous." Sarah smiled slightly as she prepared an antibiotic solution. "I became a doctor to heal. I don't really care what planet my patients come from." She hesitated. "Besides, you're the most extraordinary discovery in human history. I'm not about to let you die before I get some answers." A sound emerged from Kai that might have been laughter. "Curious creatures, humans," they said, before their eyes fluttered closed. Sarah worked through the night, monitoring Kai's vital signs, which seemed to stabilize by morning. As dawn broke, she found herself watching the sleeping alien, wondering what their arrival might mean for humanity, and trying to ignore the strange flutter in her chest whenever those amber eyes met hers. Breaking barriers. Sarah woke with a start, realizing she'd fallen asleep in the chair beside her unusual patient. The morning sun filtered through the cabin windows, illuminating Kai's purple skin, which seemed to shimmer slightly in the light too. Require rest. Kai observed, their voice stronger than the previous day. Your biological functions are impaired by lack of sleep. Sarah stretched, rubbing her neck. I was monitoring your condition, she explained. How are you feeling? Improved, Kai replied, sitting up with obvious caution. Your primitive treatments appear to have been effective. Primitive? Sarah laughed. I'll take that as a thank you. She approached carefully. May I check your wound? Kai tensed as Sarah reached toward them. Is contact necessary? It would help, Sarah explained. But I can respect your boundaries if it makes you uncomfortable. After a moment's hesitation, Kai nodded. Proceed. Sarah gently removed the bandage, noting with relief that the wound was healing, remarkably fast. Your regenerative abilities are incredible, she murmured. On Earth, this kind of injury would take weeks to heal. My species evolved on a harsh world, Kai explained, watching her hands with fascination. Quick healing was essential for survival. As Sarah redressed the wound, she noticed Kai studying her. What is it? She asked. Your touch. Kai said hesitantly. It is different than I expected. Among my kind, physical contact signals, dominance or aggression. Yet yours feels neither dominative nor aggressive. Human touch can mean many things, Sarah explained, finishing the bandage. Care, healing, friendship. She paused. Even affection. Affection through physical contact, Kai repeated as if testing an alien concept. Fascinating, Sarah smiled at their scientific curiosity. Are you hungry? I can make something. My nutritional needs are specific, Kai warned. My species requires certain mineral compositions. Well, let's figure it out, Sarah said, heading to her small kitchen. I'm a scientist after all. Problem solving is what I do. Over the next few days, a tentative routine developed. Sarah tended to Kai's wound, which continued healing rapidly, while trying to determine what Earth foods the alien could safely consume. They discovered certain vegetables and minerals matched Kai's dietary needs, while Sarah learned more about the alien's world. Your planet Nexus, Sarah said one evening as they shared a meal. You mentioned it was harsh. A desert world, Kai confirmed. Minimal precipitation, intense solar radiation. Life there evolved to be efficient and resilient. Is that why your people value strength and dominance? Sarah asked carefully. Kai considered this. Perhaps our history is one of constant struggle for resources. Only the strong survived. They looked at Sarah with curiosity. Yet Earth appears abundant with resources. Why then do humans still engage in conflict? Sarah sighed. That's a complicated question. We're still evolving, I suppose. Learning to cooperate instead of compete. Their conversation was interrupted by the sound of a vehicle approaching. Sarah froze. I'm not expecting anyone, she whispered, moving to the window. My research station is supposed to be isolated. A black SUV was winding up the mountain road. A man in a dark suit emerged, squinting up at the cabin. Government, Sarah breathed. They must have detected your crash. Kai moved with surprising speed, gathering what appeared to be weapons from their suit. I will eliminate the threat. No. Sarah grabbed their arm without thinking. No killing. She was surprised when Kai didn't pull away from her touch. He's just doing his job. We need to hide you. She quickly led Kai to a small cellar accessible through a trapdoor beneath the kitchen rug. Stay here, stay quiet, I'll handle this. Moments later, a knock sounded at the door. Sarah took a deep breath and opened it. Dr. Chen, the man said, showing credentials. Agent Cooper, FBI. We've had reports of unusual activity in this area. Sarah forced a smile. Just me and my plants, Agent Cooper. Nothing unusual here. Cooper's eyes scanned the cabin. Mind if I look around? Some hikers reported seeing lights in the sky 3 nights ago, right around here. Probably just the aurora, Sarah suggested casually. It can be quite spectacular in these mountains. Cooper nodded, but his expression remained skeptical. All the same, I'd like to check the premises. Sarah led him through the cabin, trying to appear calm, though. Her heart raced when Cooper paused near the kitchen rug. What kind of research are you conducting exactly? He asked. Botanical pharmacology. Sarah explained quickly. I'm studying alpine plants for potential medicinal applications. Cooper seemed about to say something when his radio crackled. Cooper here, he answered. Stepping away, Sarah held her breath. Copy that. Cooper said into the radio. I'll check the eastern ridge. He turned to Sarah. I'll need to continue my investigation, but I may need to speak with you again, Doctor. Of course, Sarah said, walking him to the door. I'm always here. Once Cooper's vehicle disappeared down the mountain road, Sarah quickly opened the trapdoor. He's gone, she whispered. But he'll be back, Kai emerged, looking grim. This complicates matters. My rescue beacon will activate soon. My people will come. And what will they do when they arrive? Sarah asked, suddenly. Afraid of the answer, Kai's expression was unreadable. That depends on my report. They moved closer to Sarah. You saved my life, Dr. Chen. That creates a bond even among my kind. Sarah, she said softly. Just call me Sarah. Sarah. Kai repeated her name, the words sounding musical in their alien accent. An unexpected warmth spread through Sarah's chest as they stood close together, the air between them charged with something neither of them fully understood. If your people come, Sarah asked, will you tell them to spare us? Kai reached out hesitantly, touching Sarah's cheek, with gentle fingers mimicking her caring gestures from the past days. You have shown me that humans are more than the violent creatures we believed. They said softly. I have much to consider. Sarah leaned slightly into the touch, her scientific mind noting how her heart rate increased at the contact, while another part of her simply savored the connection, forming between two beings from different worlds. We don't have much time, Kai said, their amber eyes fixed on Sarah's. Agent Cooper will return, and my people will not be far behind. Then we'd better make the most of it, Sarah replied, reaching up to place her hand over Kai's, feeling the alien texture of their skin against her palm, and wondering how something so foreign could feel so right. Hidden truths. The morning fog clung to the mountains surrounding Sarah's cabin as she packed essential supplies. We need to move, she said, glancing nervously out the window. Cooper will bring reinforcements. Kai nodded, checking the small device. On their wrist, my internal systems have recovered to acceptable levels, they reported. The atmospheric adaptation is progressing well. What about your beacon? Sarah asked, zipping her backpack. Will your people be able to find you if we leave? The beacon is linked to my biological signature, Kai explained, not to a fixed location. Sarah hesitated before asking the question that had been haunting her. What exactly was your mission here, Kai? When the alien didn't immediately respond, she pressed. Further, you said you were assessing Earth. Why? Kai's amber eyes met hers. My people, the Nexians, have been observing your planet for decades. Our leadership council was divided on how to proceed with Earth. Proceed how? Sarah felt her stomach tighten. Some advocate for conquest. Kai said, their voice neutral. Others for alliance. Your species has potential but is considered unpredictable, dangerous. Sarah set down the pack she was holding. So you were sent to decide if we should be invaded or befriended. Duh. Simplification, but essentially correct. Kai acknowledged. I was to gather first-hand intelligence on human behavior and capabilities. The weight of this revelation settled between them. Sarah took a step back. And what will you report? I am Kai. Paused, searching for words. Conflicted. My observations do not align with our preconceptions. Their eyes held Sarah's. What I've experienced with you contradicts my mission briefing. Before Sarah could respond, the sound of vehicles approaching broke the tension. She peered through the window. 3 SUVs, she whispered. Cooper brought friends. We must leave immediately. Kai moved with fluid grace, gathering the remaining supplies. Is there another exit? Sarah nodded, leading them to the back door. There's a trail through the northern ridge. It leads to an old research station about 10 miles from here. They slipped out as the vehicles pulled up to the cabin. Kai moved with surprising speed despite their recent injury, helping Sarah navigate the difficult terrain. They traveled in tense silence for nearly an hour before Sarah spoke again. How would an invasion work? She asked, her voice tight. Would there be any warning? Any chance for diplomacy? Kai's expression grew somber. Nexian military doctrine favors decisive first strikes. Our technology is significantly advanced compared to Earth's current capabilities. And you were going to recommend this? Sarah couldn't keep the hurt from her voice. I was sent to observe. And report, Kai corrected. The decision would not have been mine. They stopped walking, turning to face her. But my experience here has been unexpected, Sarah. You have shown compassion where my training predicted hostility. One person's kindness doesn't represent an entire species, Sarah argued. Humans are complicated. We can be both wonderful and terrible sometimes in the same moment. As can Nexians. Kai admitted, our history is not without its atrocities. They moved closer to Sarah. My time with you has made me question many assumptions. Their conversation was interrupted by the distant sound of a helicopter. Sarah grabbed Kai's arm, pulling them under the cover of dense pine trees. They're searching from the air, she whispered. We need to move faster. As they continued through increasingly difficult terrain, the sky darkened with approaching storm clouds. Sarah felt the first raindrops as they climbed a steep, rocky slope. The research station should be just beyond this ridge, she said breathlessly. We can shelter there. Thunder cracked overhead as the rain intensified. Kai noticed Sarah shivering in her wet clothes. Without hesitation, they removed the outer layer of their suit, wrapping it around her shoulders. The material was surprisingly warm and lightweight. Thank you, Sarah said, startled by the gesture. Your body temperature was dropping, Kai stated, but something in their expression suggested the action wasn't purely practical. They reached the abandoned research station as the storm unleashed its full fury. The small compound consisted of several interconnected prefabricated buildings partially reclaimed by nature. It hasn't been used in years, Sarah explained, forcing open the rusted door. Budget. Cuts ended the forestry program that maintained it. Inside was dusty but intact. Solar backup systems still provided minimal power to the main building. Sarah quickly located emergency supplies, while Kai secured the perimeter. We should be safe here, temporarily, Kai said, returning to find Sarah attempting to activate the heating system. The storm will mask our trail and interfere with aerial surveillance. Sarah nodded, rubbing her arms for warmth. What happens when your people receive your beacon signal? A retrieval team will be dispatched, Kai explained. Standard protocol allows 3 Earth days for extraction. And then what? Sarah asked softly. Kai moved closer, their amber eyes reflecting the dim emergency lighting. That depends on my report, Sarah. Their voice softened, and on what happens in the time we have left. Something shifted in the air between them. Sarah found herself acutely aware of Kai's proximity, of the strange intimacy that had developed between them despite their differences. You should rest, Kai suggested. Your species requires more frequent recovery periods than mine. Sarah smiled, always the scientist, as are you. Kai returned the gesture with what Sarah now recognized as their version of a smile as Sarah settled onto the small cot in what had once been the station's dormitory. Kai sat nearby, their posture alert, yet somehow protective. Sarah watched them through half-closed eyes. Why did you really help me escape? She asked sleepily. You could have surrendered to Cooper, completed your mission. Kai was silent for so long Sarah thought they might not answer. Perhaps, they finally said, I needed to understand more before making my final assessment. But something in their voice told Sarah, There was more to it than scientific curiosity. As she drifted toward sleep, she felt Kai's gentle touch on her hand, a gesture that would have been unthinkable when they first met. "Rest, Sarah," Kai whispered. "Tomorrow we face difficult decisions." Sarah's last conscious thought was that she had never expected to find such connection with a being from another world. Yet somehow in this abandoned research station, hiding from both human and alien authorities, she felt strangely at home with Kai. By her side outside, the storm raged on, washing away their tracks, while inside, two beings from different worlds found unexpected shelter in each other's presence. Between worlds, morning light filtered through dusty windows as Sarah woke, finding Kai examining the station's communications equipment. "Any luck?" she asked, approaching. "Primitive, but functional." Kai replied, their fingers moving across the console. "I've modified it to send a secure transmission to your people." Sarah asked, her voice tight with concern. "To Commander Aya, my superior." Kai confirmed, "I must report before the retrieval team arrives." Sarah placed her hand on Kai's arm. "And what will you tell them?" Kai's amber eyes met hers. "The truth that humans are complex, unpredictable, but not the threat we believed." They hesitated. "That you showed compassion when you could have exploited my vulnerability." "Will it matter?" Sarah whispered. Before Kai could answer, the door burst open. Agent Cooper stood there, weapon drawn. "Dr. Chen, step away from the alien," he commanded. Sarah moved protectively in front of Kai. "Cooper, wait. It's not what you think. I've been tracking you since you left the cabin." Cooper said, his weapon unwavering. "I saw everything, including your little heart-to-heart about invasion plans." "Then you know Kai hasn't decided," Sarah argued. "There's a chance for peace." Cooper lowered his weapon slightly. "I also heard about the rescue team coming." His expression shifted. "Which means we don't have much time." Kai questioned. "Look." Cooper holstered his gun. "I'm supposed to take you in, but after what I've heard, I think that would be a catastrophic mistake." He stepped forward. "Government containment would only prove your people right about us." Sarah stared in disbelief. "You're helping us." Cooper nodded. "For now. But I need assurances that Earth isn't about to face an alien invasion." Kai moved beside Sarah, their fingers brushing against hers in what had become a gesture of reassurance. "I cannot speak for the Nexian High Command, but my report will emphasize peaceful contact." That evening, as Cooper kept watch outside, Sarah found Kai on the station's roof, gazing at the stars. "That one." Kai pointed to a distant point of light. "Orbiting that star is my homeworld." Sarah stood close enough that their shoulders touched. "Do you miss it?" "I should," Kai admitted. "But my time here has been unexpectedly significant." They turned to Sarah. "You have changed my perspective." Sarah felt Kai's hand tentatively find hers, their fingers intertwining. "Is this correct?" Kai asked. "This gesture of affection, perfect," Sarah whispered, leaning closer as Kai's arm wrapped around her shoulders, their bodies fitting together. Despite all their differences, under the vast canopy of stars, two beings from different worlds found comfort in shared touch, neither speaking of tomorrow or the choices that awaited them. The choice. The retrieval ship descended silently through Earth's atmosphere, landing in the clearing near the station. Sarah, Cooper, and Kai watched from the tree line as the vessel's doors opened. Commander Aya emerged, tall, imposing, their purple skin darker than Kai's, with military insignia etched across their armor. "Scout Kai, report status." They called. Kai stepped forward. "Commander, the situation is complex. Your transmission was concerning." Aya replied. "You spoke of human collaboration, not collaboration," Kai corrected. "Understanding. These humans aided me when they could have captured or killed me." Aya's expression hardened. "Isolated anomalies. Our intelligence indicates humans are predominantly violent, territorial." "With respect, Commander," Kai challenged. "Our intelligence is incomplete, biased. I have experienced differently." Sarah stepped forward despite Kai's warning gesture. "Commander Aya, I'm Dr. Sarah Chen," she said. "I understand your concerns about humanity, but we're not all the same." A bold approach, human, Aya noted. Kai, your attachment to this specimen has compromised your judgment. My judgment has been enhanced, not compromised. Kai moved to Sarah's side. I was sent to assess threat levels. I found possibility instead. Cooper joined them. Commander, your species values evidence correct. When Aya nodded, he continued, then judge us by actions, not assumptions. Aya studied the three of them. The High Command expects my recommendation for either alliance or conquest. Their gaze fixed on Kai. Which do you advocate? Kai took Sarah's hand openly. Alliance, Commander, without hesitation. Alliance. Based on your experience with two humans. Aya questioned, based on what they represent. Kai replied, potential compassion choice. Sarah squeezed Kai's hand. Our species has made mistakes, Commander. Just as I imagine yours has. But we're learning, growing. Aya was silent for a long moment. This is unprecedented, a scout mission returning with such conclusions. Finally, they nodded. I will recommend provisional contact diplomatic channels. And Kai? Sarah asked, unable to stop herself. Aya looked between them. Scout Kai's unique experience makes them valuable as potential liaison. They turned, addressing Kai directly. If you choose to remain temporarily for further research, the High Command would consider it tactically advantageous. Relief flooded through Sarah as Kai's arm encircled her waist. I accept this assignment, Commander, they said formally, though their eyes never left Sarah's face. Later, as Aya's ship departed temporarily, Kai and Sarah stood in the clearing beneath the stars. How long is temporarily, in Nexian terms? Sarah asked, leaning into Kai's embrace. Long enough, Kai murmured, their forehead touching, hers in what had become their unique gesture of intimacy, to explore all the ways our worlds might connect. Sarah smiled, looking up at the being who had crashed into her life and changed everything. I still have so many questions about your world. And I about yours, Kai replied, their amber eyes reflecting starlight. Perhaps we can find answers together. As their lips met in a tentative first kiss, Sarah thought how strange and wonderful that the universe's vastness had somehow brought them together. Two beings from distant worlds finding connection despite every difference. Cooper, watching from a respectful distance, smiled to himself. Earth's first contact might not have gone according to any government protocol, but as the scientist and the alien embraced silhouetted against the night sky, he couldn't help thinking it had turned out exactly right. The stars witnessed their promise unspoken, but understood that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them not as human and alien, but together as pioneers of a new understanding between worlds.